The sixth Gemara, to me, is the biggest tiyufta of all. The Gemara, in a few places, about Metzias Samach Aleph, one of them says that Kadosh Baruch Hu is asid lefraya. Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to punish those who take Kala Ilan and pretend it's Techeles. The Gemara is saying that there's something called Kala Ilan, which is similar to Techeles. Why would anybody say Kala Ilan is Techeles? Kala Ilan is cheap. It's an inexpensive vegetable-based dye. The Techeles is expensive. It certainly was expensive. Today, it's still pretty expensive. It's an expensive dye. And Memela, now this is the raya that those who are for the murex bring, the strongest raya. I have to tell you, there was about 20 years ago, there was an assemblage in YU introducing the new Techeles. And I got a tape of Rav Hershel Shechter spoke there, and Dr. Norman Lamb spoke. And Dr. Lamb showed he shut off the lights and showed on the tape. I couldn't see it, but he showed Kala Ilan. We know what it is. Let's say they're right, because the word indigo is used by Rishonim, and today we have indigo. Let's assume they're right. So the indigo color and the Techeles that they're making is the same color. It's a raya. It's the same. Now what he showed was the molecular structure of the indigo dye and the molecular structure of the Techeles dye. And they're exactly the same. There's no difference between them. You can take things out of different products, just like if you take glycerin out of an animal, out of the fats of an animal, or glycerin out of vegetable fat. You make glycerin. No lab could tell you if it comes from a kosher source from flesh or trefa source from vegetables, because the glycerin itself is a molecule, a specific molecule. So if you take oxygen out of water, once you take oxygen, you can't tell if it came from water or it didn't come from water. The dye molecule, which is in the indigo and in the Techeles, is exactly the same. That was what he showed, and that's what they printed. And now this makes it impossible that the Techeles is this indigo, is this molecule. First of all, nobody in their right mind would spend money on Techeles dye. The Techeles dye was expensive, not because it's tzitzis, because kings used it. It was used by everybody. If the molecular structure is exactly identical, it's absolutely illogical that anybody would spend a penny more on the same exact dye, which you can't tell the difference. Once you make the dye, you have it in a pot, no one can tell the difference. It's illogical. Anybody would spend any more money on the murex dye than on the indigo dye. What?
I can't hear him. Finish his point first.
I'm talking about the kings. The kings spend money on it. Why would they spend money on it? The kings didn't care about the halacha. Well, it's okay. It's okay. Now, besides that, Chazal do say a difference between them. They say there are ways of checking. You get the dye of the murex. You can use soaps, and you can use all kinds of things, and whatever the Chazal say, you could be baitik. The Kala Ilan comes out, and the Techeles doesn't come out. If the molecular structure is 100% identical, then there's a problem. This would be a tiyufta legamri on the whole thing.
People pay for the name.
People pay for the name. And what about the second nakuda? The fact that one comes out and one doesn't. So the truth is, they realized, since 20 years ago, they realized this is a tiyufta. They came to the realization that this is a tiyufta.
The process the same?
What?
The process of drying makes it different.
Perhaps. Well, once you have the molecules, it's hard to understand. They say that it's not entirely true what Dr. Lamb said, and what they printed is not exactly the same. There's something that sticks to one and doesn't stick to another. There's been a give back on it. But whatever the give back is, at least the way it was presented initially, if anything, is something of a problem. You can answer. But to say it's a raya, it's a very difficult thing. My seventh ha'ara is the following. I don't know if